Hello and welcome back to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How you doing on this glorious Monday? Fantastic weekend. It's a little cold again back in Florida. Hopefully we'll move on for that in a couple of days. Freezing our ass off again. Man, this weather's killing me. I get sinus infections right away as soon as that cold weather moves in. Tonight's show, take the money or eat the bullet. I think there was a Colombian term by Escobar used to say plato or plano. Basically, it's letters. It's the silver or the lead or something like that. So take the money, eat the bullet. Basically, that's my take on it. The cartels run Mexico. We're gonna hear about that. Angels without wings. Very moving and touching today. President Trump speaking with angel moms, addressing that, signing that proclamation. Makes me sick to my stomach about all those lost lives. President Trump was correct about pointing the finger about who is to blame, why is this happening, and why people keep turning off when this is a serious subject. No one cares, blows away. He's the only person that makes this a single issue, and everybody knows it. This was the issue that got him elected. All right, so this was the issue, 84%. Bread, circuses, and glory. That's the other thing we're going to cover. We're going to talk about a lot of things in regards to, in some ways, how we view what was taking place at the Olympics, the reaction, a lot of little contradictions about that. Let's welcome my co-host, Marshall Smith. What's going on here? You're like,
Yeah, I was having a hard. It didn't show up on the top feed like it usually does on Pilled.
oh,
The
is it
link,
working?
your name didn't show up. I had to search it,
Oh,
and finally I just got on it. And volume
okay.
was
Just
on,
let me know if
so
it's working over there.
it's
Welcome
working
in, Phil
now.
Dennett.
And I wanted to say a shout out to Senior Pollo for the donation today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Senor Polo. Yeah, welcome in, Pildot. Hello, we're on Rumble and we are on YouTube. Please share and subscribe over there. Leave us a comment or two. We'll get to you. Let's hear your thoughts about a lot of stuff. What's up, True Terran? How you doing? Wood USA, thank you for the 217 gold pills. Who else is here tonight? Let's see, Patty B. How you doing? What's up, Thea? Thank you for the 900 gold pills. Wood USA. Trump won. How you doing? What's going on? What's up, Darla L? Yeah, it's good to see everybody. Welcome in. If you want to help out the program, like, share, and subscribe, you can drop us a gold pill, comments, questions, or concerns. We'll get to all your thoughts, everything regarding that. If you want to help out, marshallkofi.com/surfdog74. So I want to start off with what happened with Mexico over the weekend. I'll get to the I don't even want to call it a faux assassination attempt, because there's a lot of strange bedfellows with that, which reminds me of the Butler shooting, very scarce on the guy, social media, almost scantly gross, non-existent. Family reported his kidnapping not even a day before, or his disappearance a day before. Really odd coincidences. And, if there was a handler involved, wouldn't you know that President Trump wasn't there? So I think this is something else, and we'll get to that. I don't want to really cover too much of that tonight, because I think really there's not enough information on it. We don't know anything. I'll just run through it. But I think the important things that we're discovering right now is that we have a problem on our south of our border, and it's getting worse. And I think that right now the final execution is taking place, that we're finally moving on the deep state, the CIA-controlled cartels, and Scheinbox in some way. Now, the question is on this. Scheinbaum kills a drug lord and crosses her Rubicon. Okay, did she cross her Rubicon? I'm not going to read all these. I got a lot of big articles. I'll just cover briefly. Murders, torch cars, highway blockades, bank branches set ablaze, or otherwise empty streets. You notice how Tijuana had blockades, cars on fire before you can get to the San Diego connection there. Puerto Vallarta, classes suspended. I made a joke, the Love Boat wasn't going to dock there. I mean, Puerto Vallarta, come on. The killing of Nemeso Ortega Cervantes, a.k.a. El Mencho, by Mexico's armed forces on Sunday unleashed a wave of violence across the country. Every time a major cartel lost its boss, the spasm of revenge against the government is followed by a bloody internal struggle. We understand that the Mexican military operation was backed by U.S. intelligence, cements a major turning point in the country's security strategy since Scheinbaum took office nearly 17 months ago. Interesting number. Deeper security coordination with the U.S. government has already led to the extradition of a dozen cartel members, increased drug bust, and tougher actions against organized crime, including the recent arrest of the mayor of Tequila and sanctions against timeshare fraud networks. How interesting on that one. Both cases linked to CGNG. Compare with the hugs and no bullets approach of Scheinbaum's predecessor, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, in 2019. The president, known as AMLO, aborted a military operation and ordered the release of one Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's sons to avoid putting the population at risk. All right. We'll just say this. It appears that the Mexican military forces were working in collaboration with United States intelligence operations, whether they're there in support or something else. We don't know. And I think in some way, was the leader of the Jalisco New Gen cartel, was there a kill capture ordered? I don't think it mattered. I think what it was is that from the way it appears, Scheinbaum was exercising her authority as she should. She was basically remembering her place. That's why I call her a shine box, because it has different slang meanings. Remember your place, or fuck off back to your pathetic old job. And I think that's the thing. She forgot she was the president of Mexico. Now, it's quite clear that she is concerned. She's scared for her life. There's no doubt about it. Almost 90% of this government is in the pocket of the cartels. They're either paid off, they either take the bullet or they take the money. And I always say that all the time as a comparison, because if they don't, they're going to kill their families or whatever. So we would have to assume or presume that 90% of the country has been captured in a lot of different ways, but we're not really sure about how far and how deep it is. You could also say the police force. I don't know about the military per se, but it looks like they took them out. And so my question will be, so then why was she so resistant from the get-go? Was this a head fake, a wink, a subterfuge, a stratagem, a ruse between the Trump administration and the Mexican government, or specifically her administration, Scheinbaum? I mean, was it possible in some way that she was coaxed into this privately, or did she, or does she fear for her life? So was she enticed? Was she lured into this? Did she have an alternative? I wonder if she was doing this on her own. Was she convinced in some way that she has to play ball with the United States government covertly, whether it's JSOC, Delta Force, whatever special forces operators, whether they're there or not, would go in there and do it themselves? So the question is, did she honor her sovereignty? Because if she was going to allow the United States to do this in some way, and maybe they are behind the scenes, she hasn't come out fully about that. So again, we don't know if this is a deflection point about the plan. We don't know anything really about this. Either way, whether this is covertly being executed right now behind the scenes, or she is doing it with the help of the United States from our operators there on the ground. Obviously, they lost 25 of their National Guard military forces that were killed. A lot of people were injured. So obviously, this is going to continue on. How much further does this have to take place? How much further do we have to go? I mean, obviously, it's designate, decimate, and dominate. That is the plan of action here. How far are they willing to go? Will Scheinbaum take this to the next level? All right. Will she get yellow like her former predecessor, the Obrador that we were just talking about, Marshall?
Yeah, I believe that I like what Tim Burchett's take is on this, and that is, instead of the military should be at the border for sure in various parts. But I think, like Tim Burchett said, that in the old days they called them privateers, which are mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think should be, because then they can really go in there and do what they got to do.
Right.
And nobody knows anything. There's no official, any of that. It's totally, I agree with Tim Burchett on that one. And
Right.
as far as Scheinbox go, I mean, she's caught, she's definitely trying to ride a fine line here.
Well, that's the thing. Is this a scenario that Scheinbox felt that she had no alternative? I mean, FL John 48, what's up? It says she is cooperating. She saw what happened to Maduro. Yeah, this is a little bit different, but I could see that definitely. Everybody saw what happened to Maduro in some way. But that's a different scenario. That's a totally different scenario. But since President Trump has made them a foreign terrorist organizations, all these cartels in some way, we have carte blanche to do as we will. But I think in some way to make sure that they can maintain their balance of their sovereignty without their government collapsing, all right, which we know it's teetering right now of what's going on. They have to show that they can do this and execute this, all right, with their own militia, their own force in some way, with the aid of us, all right. Obviously, the way they captured this, the way they found this guy, apparently he's a bit of a romantic. He likes to hook up with these, I don't know. Let's just say, what are these people on the internet? OnlyFans stuff. I don't know. I was reading that it's possible that one of the persons
Oh yeah,
that
good
was
Lord. Yeah, I know.
sleeping with him in some way, ratted him out. That was an OnlyFans. She was a bait and switch or a trap in some way, and he liked his broads, and that's how they were able to locate him. I don't know if that's true or not. There's not enough information really to set aside at the moment that we know that for certain. However, I would conditionally argue that right now Mexico and the border are very tenuous right now because this is only going to escalate. We don't know how many people that are inside every state. Let's just say every blue state, feed them. All right. We don't know how many people are operating inside the cartel, inside the United States, with the cover and the help of Democratic governors, Democratic mayors, and what have you. So it's something to consider. So I think that we should be mindful about this as we think that this could be escalating and we could start to see plans to carry out as a fallout from this Mexican, let's just say, stand-up, so to speak, Marshall.
Yeah, the OnlyFans girl you're talking about, it was all over the internet today.
Yeah.
It's Bonnie Blue, and this chick, she went through.
I didn't hear that. I
Yeah,
heard it's somebody
yeah.
else.
Well, I heard Bonnie Blue too, and she's probably lying, but
Yeah.
she's the one that went through 400 men for a merit, like a.
Yeah, I know who she is, but
It's
I heard it was
disgusting
somebody else.
anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I heard it. They were a lot were saying it. She was saying it, man. So either way, it doesn't really matter. I think that's complete lie. I don't believe any of it.
Right.
They're just trying to promote their clickbait or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it was or not. I mean, we should
There's
find
no,
out. I mean,
it's
they're not
just
going to release.
rumors.
First of all, they're not going to give you that intelligence. That's going to be secret. They're not going to say, "Oh, by the way, we're using them to lure this guy out because he can't keep it in his pants." Okay, I got it. He likes hookers. He likes prostitutes. He likes women. That's fine. Whatever. They got him. All right. But now there's a number two that's stepping up that somehow they're going to formulate. I mean, look, the retaliatory attacks, the vindictive, like these relentless attacks that you're seeing all over Mexico right now, which has also gone through. The airport's been closed. You have shelter in place. You have the embassy that's on full alert, car bombs, burnt vehicles, road closures, blockades. Look, my concern about this is how are you going to get all these Americans out of there? I mean, what's going to happen in some way? How you're not going to be able to? Not anytime soon. The airport opened up briefly. Now it's closed. You have to consider right now, they don't want anybody getting out. And if you look at it right now with this going on, controlling the Gulf of America might be more important than we can think. We just don't know what's being controlled from a certain point of view, let's say a 40,000 foot viewpoint, because are they allowing people to leave the country privately? That's another thing you got to consider, because if it's only one airport in this way out of Mexico City, you'd have to have, and that the order's shut down, nobody's getting in and out of this country. No boats are picking you up. The love boat ain't coming. You're not going to go and sail away. So that's why I was making a joke about that. All right. So President Trump, here we go. This is him on Scheinbaum. And, look, think about what he's saying. Think about what he's talking about here. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. We've said this many a times. Question is, how do you get a name Scheinbaum Claudia in there? That's a Mexican bagel. How is that possible? Was she installed there? Absolutely. Who helped put her there? Think about all the people that were running for president at the time. They were all gunned down. And who gunned them down? So it's really hard for me to understand. Either she is capitulated and forced into this submission because she has no alternative, as President Trump is making the point, he's justifying, or she sees her let's just say, her finality, like Maduro.
It wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico. And I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people. And we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know. Yeah. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
So a couple of things there. He calls out Canada. So we got to the north of us, we got a big problem with Canada and Canadians, or the Canadian ministry. Let's put it that way. We have problems with that country. We actually have traitors among us inside our own government trying to underscore the tariff situation with Canada. There's something else there. And now we're dealing with this nonsense. Foreign terrorists right at our feet, right at our doorstep. I'm worried about New Mexico. I'm worried about Texas and Arizona. These areas are going to be hot activities, hot LZs going forward, especially at the southern tip. And you'd have to be concerned. So the question is she under duress? Does the United States, does the Trump administration have her capitulating at the moment? Is she under the thumb, all right, of this administration? Is she being forced to accelerate this in such a way to move this forward to get this done? That's the question I want everybody to ask yourself. Marshall, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this even gives me more what I said earlier, and that is there probably already is, but we really need to have certain spots along that border, along that whole border of our military. Our military needs to be there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they've already probably got elements of it. And I agree with what Darla said a minute ago in the chat. We got to worry or focus or think about these sleeper cells that are probably in our country. I'm sure they're around.
Yeah, so that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
That's why I think the military on this side of the border is for us. The American mercenaries and those private guys, that's for in there. And
there might be the private contractors, operators that are working in concert. Yeah, I mean, there might be. I mean, I don't know per se. We can't say that for sure. But it's more than likely that, we're overseeing this type of, we have people in there guiding them, helping the Mexican military move this through, giving them intelligence so they can guide them through the sweeps of stuff, what they need to do to prepare. I think this is a great thing, but I'm concerned about the retaliatory attacks onto the United States that are going to come. And I think that's what we should all be worried about. So again, is she captured in some way? It's quite plausible to suggest that this moment right now, she's being forced into submission and she has no alternative to move this forward because she knows sooner or later we were going to go and do it on her own. And then she would lose the control and sovereignty of her country, which would put her, I think, at odds with her own people and probably between her and the cartels and her own people. So U.S. citizens in parts of Mexico urged to still shelter in place, all right, as the nation on edge following the drug lord's killing. This came out earlier today, this afternoon. Mexico's most wanted boss killing sparked widespread unrest. Tourists stranded in vacation spots. The U.S. State Department urged American nationals today to continue sheltering in place. The department's 24/7 crisis hotline carries suspended flights to Puerto Vallarta. Here's what you do if you're stranded. So flights and some areas in Mexico have been canceled. I wonder how the United States military are handling this in some way. Are they overseeing this? Are they watching it? I mean, what is the American embassy doing at the moment for American citizens over there? I don't know if they can accommodate all the people that are over there. The question is and stuff, knowing the tensions that we have going on with Mexico, and the way we look at what's taking place and stuff, why would you want to go over there, all right, and travel to party and hang out as a destination, knowing full well the cartels run that country, that any type of danger that anything could happen that is imminent towards you or your family? Why put yourself in danger in that way? I mean, Southwest Airlines told CNN that it won't have any operations there at the airport today, given the uncertainty on the ground. Delta, no. United, no. American. Air Canada told CNN that all flights from Puerto Vallarta today were canceled. How long is this going to go on? You got to consider. You got to consider. Look, they had the unrest in Mexico comes months before the Guadalajara is set to host the World Cup. All right, and they canceled all sporting activities, all football or soccer, whatever they call it over there. And I think in some way this is only going to escalate. Now, if they start targeting American citizens over there, this is going to get really ugly. This is going to get really ugly. And I don't know if they're going to do this in retaliation, but it's I can't imagine them not trying to do that in some way. So are the people there that are stranded, that they're all over X and TikTok and saying, yeah, we're over here partying and stuff, and now we can't go anywhere? They don't seem scared, though. You see some of these people, and they're just like chill. I don't know if they're drunk or stoned or what have you. And I'm like, you're in a war zone. You have no idea what's about to come your way, and you think like, it's okay. It's going to be fine. Maybe the ship will come and pick us up. Yeah, right. Good luck with that. You think there's going to be a ship that's going to come up like the Love Boat and take you away? Yeah, not if the port is sealed. Not if anything is closed down. I think a lot of people are just not taking this. They're taking it too cavalier. And I think that's the problem. We should be on notice and everything. The United States should be on notice about this now, especially at the southern border, what's going on, because I have some articles that I'm going to cover with that. But go ahead.
I tell you, from somebody that's lived in Mexico for 6 years, these people, I saw them on the beach. I mean, they got these places burning down all around them. And they were sitting on the beach, these dumb Americans. I'm like, look, if you're an American and you are in Puerto Vallarta or one of these places down there, you better be scared.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're scared, that means you're going to act smart.
Mm-hmm.
Don't panic. Be smart. Get off the freaking beach.
Yeah.
Get your supplies.
Stop hanging out at the bar, getting drunk.
Yeah. Get your supplies
Prepare.
and go back to your room and hide out.
Yeah.
And pray that nobody comes banging on your door.
Look at this. Anybody have access to that yacht? Look at that. I would be scared shitless if I'm in that country right now.
I can't believe it, man.
I saw cars blown up. They had video footage of cars blowing up, torch blocking the streets, the highway to get from Tijuana to San Diego to that exit of where the United States and the Mexican border is. And, a lot of traffic and stuff. But I just cannot believe a lot of people are just this cavalier about everything, not taking it so seriously. They think they're fine. They think it's not going to affect us. It's not going to happen. For the life of me, I don't understand these people. And you know what? I don't really care, because you know what? If you want to go travel there, well, then you're on your own. I don't want to hear this stuff like, well, there should have been protection, should have been anything. Well, I hope you contact the embassy. I hope you're smart in some way, that you're able to find some way out of it, because until the airport opens up, you're not going anywhere unless you can get a boat. You don't know if there's going to be any passage with that, because the Gulf of America is shut down.
Yeah, what these people down there do not understand. A lot of people do this when they go on vacation in different places out of the country. They don't realize they are not in America anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't respect that. It's like not respecting the ocean when there's big waves.
Right.
You have to know where you're at. And you are not in America when you go. And the fact that you're American, that doesn't protect you. No. That actually makes you bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cancun vacations are on sale. I saw that. There's a lot of fraudulent stuff going on with the timeshare community that they're investigating. They're looking at right now. They've shut down. Think about everything that's taking place in general with the country overall. Didn't they have an earthquake on the other side of the beach, the nice area, that leveled parts of those areas and stuff that made it? I don't know if they're rebuilding it. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I saw that with the vacations. They're going to run out of gas, probably. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to get in and out if they already shut down transportation in some way. But yeah, if you're there, you're in a car and you drove there from California, I would get in there. Fire sale in Mexico. Funny.
I would fucking hide out for a while.
Yeah.
I would not go on the road, Brett. I swear I'm not kidding.
Well, after what I saw between Tijuana and San Diego, the highways have been blockaded in some way. You don't see the military on there. Just like trucks are on fire all over the place. Yeah, that's not good. All right, so I'm going to show you this because there's some more information regarding this. So we know the kingpin was killed. There's some information here. Mexican military forces kill him. Ruben Sego Cervantes. The raid in Tapatla. All right, the raid happened in a town called Jalisco, where Mexican army units tracked down El Mencho and his inner circle. Soldiers faced heavy fire, CNG members armed with automatic weapons and rocket launchers. The defense ministry reported seizing armored vehicles and high-powered guns. Listen to the stuff this guy has. 3 soldiers got wounded in the fight, but the mission ended. El Mencho dead in his injuries. With no small hit, El Mencho built into Mexico's dominant cartel, flooding the United States with fentanyl and methamphetamines and cocaine, killing thousands of Americans every year through their position. His death came after years of pressure from President Trump and demanded Mexico step up. Chaos in Guadalajara International Airport. As we've seen, cartel gunmen caused panic as passengers and staff ran for cover. Yeah, people were running out. They pulled out guns, started shooting. Flights got grounded. I mean, where's the police force? I mean, you can't count on them. I mean, basically, you can't count on the police force because they're paid to look the other way. And you got military operators all over the place taking out the cartel and doing what they can. So the hostage crisis in Puerto Vallarta. The situation got worse. The beach town packed. The American tourists became a battlefield. Cartel members torched vehicles on the streets, set businesses on fire, clashed with security forces. This is not getting better. Plumes of smoke filled over the sky. Resorts locked down, telling guests stay in their rooms. Reports came, gunmen grabbing children, American tourists as hostages, using them as shields or leverage against authorities. One American stuck there described it as being thrown in a terrible movie with no way out until the violence stopped. There you go. The U.S. State Department issued alerts. Widespread violence and casualties will continue. In Zacapa and Micacom, armored CNG vehicles rolled into heavy clashes in schools in Guadalajara, closed, and people got to stay inside. 7 National Guards died. A jail guard got killed in Puerto Vallarta. A state prosecutor died in Guadalajara. Total 25 dead. Chaos erupts all over the place. You could see it. I'm not going to play all these pictures. Some of them are pretty bad. Violent scenes in Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco region. Yeah, this is not going to get better. I think it's only going to get worse. We don't know how far the Mexican forces are going to take this. Without Trump's pressure, El Mencho would still be alive, poison American streets. I think that's what you need to keep in mind. And that's why I think that she's being forced, Shinebox, to go and do this. I don't think she has a choice now. Videos on the ground show raw teller. One clip catches chaos at Guadalajara Airport with passengers running as cartel members storm in, gunfire popping in the background. Wow, can you believe that? That's crazy. That is nuts. Mexican officials knew this backlash would come. Security forces were overwhelmed. The violence exposed weak spots in Mexican's government. National Guard and Army units fought back, but the cartel firepower overwhelmed them in places like Puerto Vallarta. Canadians and Indians got similar warnings to the shelter. No civilian death threats reported yet, but with hostages involved, this could change fast. Conclusion: President Trump approaches work, hits cartels hard, secures borders. The elites who push open borders enable this bloodshed, profiting while Americans die from drugs. And think about it: we're getting rid of all these scumbags, illegal, criminal, alien scum. This is what we're facing, all right? And this is what the Democrats, and some rhinos support, and it's a disgrace. And this, I mean, we're kept at bay at the moment. We don't know how much this is going to be unfurled onto the streets of our country that we've been fighting with for decades in basically an ongoing drug war that's never ended in some way. The war on drugs, the war on terrorism. Now it's all interconnected. It's all one big thing. It's not going away, Marshall, and it's only going to increase.
Yeah, and the people that are there, they really need to wake up and understand that you don't play around. These people, they will. I saw it firsthand. I had people I worked with that were killed by the cartel, people that were friends of mine, and they found them beside the airport out in this, jungle. Their heads are bashed in by rocks. I mean, these people don't play around.
Yeah.
So they
they rip out your hearts and eat your heart.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And one thing I thought about also, and it's kind of obvious, really. It's pretty strange that this pops off in Mexico right when we have a whole armada in the Middle East.
Hmm.
It's just, is that a coincidence? What, I don't know. But it seems kind of odd that this would happen at the same exact time. So
It
I
does
don't
seem
know if
odd in some way. I don't know if it's lined up
there's a
that way.
connection or not or whatever.
Well, I mean, obviously, if they're working in tangent with military intelligence, this was planned and coordinated for them to do it at a certain time. And the timing is now. So you would have to say yes in some way. I mean, they're not going to, do this intelligence gathering and sharing in some way and then leave it upon them to make a decision to do when. I think there was probably a window, an opportunity, and they
Right.
took it. All right. And I think that was it. And that's why that guy is dead. El Mencho, whatever. Thank you, Super D, for the 117 gold pills. Really appreciate it. You can like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Comments, questions, concerns. Hit the bell to be notified. That's really important so you know when we go live. All right, let me move on. This comes from Wall Street Apes. This was another part of this. About let's just put it this way, Shine Bomb. And, my concern about her is who put her here? I mean, it's obviously the cartel had a lot to do with her getting elected in some way, but there's bigger players involved. Just like you have Soros, DEAs, and stuff, there are bigger names that put her there in some way to get her in that position. And that's what we need to find out. Who did that? Cartel violence is being allowed in Mexico because President Claudia Sheinbaum works for the cartel. A senator from Mexico went on Fox News. The president of Mexico works for the cartel. She was funded by money from the cartels. It's not just the president. Their entire group of Mexico politicians labeled narco politicians. It's a narco state. Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between Mexican government and the cartels. The Marino, political parties financed by the cartels, and that's how they get elected. Once they get elected, the deal is for the Mexican government to them to protect the cartels. President of Mexico, Shine Bomb Pardo doesn't want this information getting out. Mexicans and the politicians who are paid off by the cartels want Donald Trump to help. The Mexican senator exposing all this says she was being threatened with prison for speaking out. The president has threatened to proceed with criminal prosecution to get me out of the Senate and to get me in jail. Do you know a lot of the Mexican parliament lives in the United States? Can you believe that? Can you believe that? There's a lot of members of the Mexican parliament that live in our southwestern states. Pretty disgusting, if you ask me. It's a disgrace.
Safe for them. That's why.
And I think in some way that might be a national security problem. When you think about you have those bureaucrats that are bought and paid for by the cartels, you can argue that they're spies, just like the 600,000 Chinese students that are going to Harvard or all these high-end Ivy League schools. You could consider that in the same fashion. And now the assassination of the European mayor, Carlos Menzo, and his own cartel critic. I'm not going to play this as an old one, but she did come out in some way. But you need to be reminded in some way, again, is she being forced? Was there an alternative for her to do this? I don't think she has a choice anymore. I think this is either she's been captured, she's been cornered, and she knows that if she wants a pass, she wants to tie those bed sheets together so she can climb down out of her window from her mansion, all right, and get an exit for an exfil from the United States. I mean, that's the only way. If this country goes sideways, she's going to dip out, and you're going to see something similar to what happened with Maduro. Now, the question is, in some way, would we want to capture her in some way because she is in charge of this? She is part of this with that information that we extract for her, or has it already been extracted? Have we already extracted enough information that we don't need this anymore? And we don't want to do this at our border because apparently this would violate sovereignty. Canada would be all pissed. You'd have other nations not liking what they're seeing in some way. But what does it matter? What does it matter in any case, Marshall? At this point, if she's involved, she is there. She's the president of a narco state bought and paid for by terrorists. Then hence she's a foreign terrorist. Would you not consider that?
Yeah. And I agree with the part where you said that, we have her in some kind of control. That's for sure. Otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get Dementia Guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we got Dementia Guy, that takes a little bit of pressure off of her.
Right.
Temporarily, because they'll find another guy will move right in. But at least that does takes a little bit of pressure off her that she can kind of work. I do think that she is now she's just stuck. I mean, she's got to, I mean, if she gets out of this alive, I will be by the end of it. I'll be surprised.
Well, that's
because-
another point that we need to go to. You think, does she get out of this at all? Does she get deposed? I mean, if this escalates and where you have American hostages or American citizens that are
Oh.
gunned down and killed, all right, and she is part of this narco state, whether she's participating in helping the United States facilitate the intelligence transfer in some way, is she playing both sides? Is she a double agent? Or is she hogtied in some way, and she has no choice but to play ball? See, these are the things that I think are relevant. How does her administration stand up going forward? Because now they know, the cartels know that, hey, look, she's give in. She's surrendered. They allowed the top cartel member to be killed. And so what does that say to other cartel members that are there in some way, that she's now a threat? Now that she's what? Her life is on the line right now in some way. So you'd have to consider where this goes and how far we're looking into the future. It just doesn't end today. All right. This is going to go on for quite a while. And I'm concerned about the pushback of the United States and where we are with our border on how this is being handled in certain areas. We know that we've inched closer to the Mexican border. We took over the Rio Grande, apparently, and whatever is over there. And, you know, it's not just the drugs. You got to think about child trafficking that's going on, the main human trafficking that this type of cartel was operating with. So if you consider that and someone else pops up, what are we to do thereafter? Take that person out? Do we keep going playing whack-a-mole in some way? How does this government of Mexico, have the wherewithal, the fortitude to see this through? That is my concern. You don't want to go weak in the knees here. You don't want to do that. You don't want to buckle. So the question is, how far is the Mexican National Guard, all right, and let's just say how they're operating right now, are going to go forward? Are they going to need our help? Is she going to request that we come in there and help them?
Well, I'll tell you what, all it would take is them to start killing Americans. That the whole thing changes then. Now we can just go right in.
We'll just go
Full
right in.
bore. We can just do it all.
Right.
So you want to go there, fellas? Go ahead. But then they like to take people hostage, which really,
Well, there you go.
that makes things really complicated. It's it's crazy, Brett. But I think I am more concerned about Mexico because they're right here.
Yeah.
than I
I'm
am
concerned about what's
Iran.
inside our states.
Yes. and
Okay.
yeah, I'm not as concerned about Iran.
No.
Honestly, I mean, I hope we don't even do anything. I hope they just,
Well, we're going to cover it right now as we move off of Mexico. Trump's top general warns this is raising Cain of an Iran strike. Now, I've heard competing viewpoints about this, that Raising Cain has advised President Trump top officials that the military campaign against Iran could carry significant risks, in particular the possibility of becoming entangled in a prolonged conflict, according to two sources with the knowledge of those internal discussions. I think in some way we have to consider, is this verifiable? I mean, it is Axios, so we have to consider that. All right. And also, all right, the fact that this got out, how does this look in some way? It's very duplicitous. We have large Armada right there in the Strait of Hormuz. You have right there. And I think in some way, are we doing this as a two-pronged process? Some people are saying Israel's going to hit them with tactical nukes, and then we're going to come and clean up the mess. All right. Okay. Is this what we're doing now? Is this how we're handling it in some way? What are the talks for if we're basically just forcing them into submission and they don't want to play ball? I get it. If they don't want to play ball, that's fine. And I understand Iran, going back to the 70s and 80s, is a terrorist organization. They supply and fund terrorists. You think about the Marines, the bombing during the 80s. What was it at the embassy? 238 Marines. You got to think about the Iraq War, the Gulf War. I mean, not the Gulf War, but the Iraq War, when Iranians were moving in and helping with the IUDs and not the IUDs, all the other elements to help.
IEDs.
Yeah, exactly. IED to blow up and kill American, troops there. So you have to think about how they were funding Hezbollah and other groups as proxies to fight their battles in Iraq and other places. Look what Fallujah was. Think about their connection to certain groups like ISIS or Al Qaeda. that help, create a massive standoff and pushback. So it's not that I don't have a problem with this. Okay. I just don't want Israel leading the charge here in some way. And when I hear people talking about tactical nukes, look, I thought we're supposed to be concerned about the citizens of Iran. We want them not to be hung anymore or killed. We want to basically just manage the departing of this administration. That's what we want. We want to see them gone, maybe giving them a free pass to go and not collect your $200. Just dip out, get out of here, let the government reform in some way, recalibrate, and then we're there to maintain law and order and help quell the national sovereignty if we could do it. But if we're going to blow it to bits and pieces, how are we going to gain the trust? How are we going to gain all the things, the particulars that we need to make sure that we can move Iran into a more democratic structure that is going to be less hostile to the United States, to its other regions, so to speak, other countries in the region? That's why I'm bothersome about this. All right. I'm not saying that and also with Israel in the background, it always concerns me about if the United States doesn't do something, will they go and do it on their own? And if they do it on their own and they're told not to do it and they do this and this causes an all-out war, then that's another possibility. I'm worried about how this campaign against Iran, as it's being talked about, why it matters. There's an ongoing debate at top levels of the Trump administration how to handle Iran standoff and what the consequences of each option would be. The moment, several voices in Trump circles are urging caution. Again, take this Axios article as tenuous at best, but it does lay out some type of provisions and thoughts here. Above all, there's a question of what success would look like when it comes to military action, how risky on the other side reaching nuclear deal would likely mean walking back some of the president's previous red lines. See, we've already set up red lines. There's Kushner and Witkoff been urging the president to hold off and give diplomacy a chance. Again, this is posturing in some way. We're just, we're increasing the force size out there to weigh more pressure on while we're simultaneously trying to make these deals potentially. I mean, what are these particulars are? Do you get to leave your country? Do you get to leave with hundreds of millions of dollars and dip out? Or I mean, we're not going to go through a Maduro scenario. This is not going to be like Venezuela. Kane's position could be particularly influential because he's the Trump's top military advisor, highly respected. No one's advocating for an invasion or boots on the ground, thank God. Behind the scenes, just as the planning for the operation to capture Maduro, Trump has empowered a small brain trust to think through these problems in Iran. I think they already know what they're going to do. I think what Axios is just making suppositional and theoretical arguments about where this is going. They want to spin a negative line in here, so keep that in mind. And while Kane was all in on the Venezuelan operation, he has been more cautious in the discussions around Iran. Citing the contrast, one source described Kane as reluctant warrior on Iran. Interesting that they're putting that out there. It's not showing that he's weak. He's reluctant because I don't know. Well, we don't know. We don't know what the plans are. They're taking this and piercing this from a secondary or tertiary point of view. Someone who has limited access, someone else is speaking on anonymously about this. Senior official also denied Kane had expressed skepticism. So there you go. You could weigh it on both sides. All right. You could just take the Axios argument as a doom and gloomer naysayer and say, we shouldn't be there. We shouldn't do anything. Or you could take out that everything that article is saying is just spin. You can't buy it at all. We're not even going to hit them. And something else is going to take its place.
Yeah. I tell you, Brett, I think that this is a lot of, I hate to use the exposure word, but I think it's really just more people just understanding how it is over there and that Israel is no innocent baby. And that these people, these evangelicals in this country who fall over themselves for the state of Israel, just for the sake of it. I just don't, I think it's about help, trying to just expose, show it, what it is, show what's going on. I don't think that Iran is going to start anything directly with Israel. I think it's the other way around, that would be, they would want to start more because.
Well, you'd have to consider Iran is captured deep state, at least
right. Yeah.
The elemental chain, the hierarchy of it is deep state, CIA, black, dark. So you have to consider what type of deal is being made, what type of deals are being brokered to exfil, to dip out, take your money, go, and then a new administration will be formed. A new government can be maintained without destroying the infrastructure, attacking other things in some way. But there seems to be a push. Now, Nacian says, what did you say? Mexico, a hard pass. What do you mean by that? What were you saying, Darla? You said something
You could
else.
say the same thing about Israel too, though.
Yeah,
What you just said about Iran.
right.
I think this is going to end up pointing towards Israel, man.
Well,
think
no, I
it's
think
gonna
it's going to
end up-
affect Israel because I think no matter what takes place with the United States,
People don't trust them more and more.
yeah, I think, well, that's the problem. I mean, that's that, and also you got to consider if there's a full out war there and Israel hits them and they're involved, will the other countries come in to want to take part in doing this, or is this just a joint operation between Israel and the United States, and we're just there to mop it up, clean up in aisle 7, rectal bleeding? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. I think there's a lot of different parts about this and stuff, and I don't advocate for war lightly. I understand who Iran is. It's a terrorist state. I get who they are. They fund and they push their proxies to attack us in many different countries. They did it with the war in Iraq and I mean, I get it. I totally get it. I understand it. And you know what? This is our opportunity to reform a new government. Hopefully, getting this old government out, this old deep state government, whatever it's been in place for a long time, and getting something where we can, retain some type of moniker of new government with peace in some way. I mean, look, my head is so blown away about what's going on in Mexico. I'm not even thinking twice about this.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, because I'm not really super focused on this. I'm concerned about Mexico. We don't know how many sleeper cell or agents or provocateur that are inside that work for the cartels that are working in unison throughout these democratic blue state fiefdoms.
Yeah, and everybody should be aware of their surroundings right here at home.
Yeah.
Especially right now, because anything from like finding you see $100 bill on the ground, don't pick it up.
Yeah.
Because they lace that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to get something and get a baggie or whatever, that's up to you. But there's a lot of things that are going on that are not good, and yes, and I agree with you, Brett. Our border, our neighbors here is what we need to be very focused on, in my opinion.
What's up, James, over here on YouTube? My brother thinks Trump is controlled by Bibi. Well, I mean, that's the appearance. Look, I mean, he's perfectly selling the viewpoint in some way. You got to sell this narrative because you can't have it ever blow back. Oh, he wasn't for them or helping them out when this thing goes sideways. Okay, for them. So you have to consider that. You have to understand he's playing a part in this. He's playing a role in some way. Whether he's friends with them or not, he likes them, that it's convincing enough and saying, hey, look, we did enough for them. We did enough. I was there with them. He can go out and tell the rest of the United States or people in general, I did enough for them. Okay? This is my red line with them. I think he's selling that part. I think you have to consider that in a lot of ways. So it's not necessarily that he's working with Bibi in some way, but he has to make sure that they have to slip on their own banana, so to speak. They have to go their own direction in some manner, and I think they will. And I think from that point, that's when the lever will be pulled and say, whoa, hold up on these brakes here. Because now we have something that's disconcerting. But now with this level, that this war in Mexico that's taking place, and it is a war, because this is not going to just end overnight. Okay, you took out one bad guy. Okay, you got 25 people of their National Guard that was killed, murdered. So there's going to be a great pushback. Question is, how hard, how fast? Moving on. All right, we got so much more to cover and stuff, so I just want to keep this going on. So here we go. So Peter Mendelsohn arrested over Epstein files just days after Andrew held by the cops. So this guy was arrested in a similar fashion, according to what the Sun is saying, of what Prince Andrew was. And the question is, will he be let go? The ex-ambassador, 72, accused of leaking sensitive government intelligence to pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the question is, did he, meaning Prince Andrew, do the same thing? Because it was shown to us that he was also involved with a similar fashion, but was it to him? Because it didn't specify if it was about Epstein per se, but police descended on the 72-year-old's home before the shamed ex-ambassador left in an unmarked car. Now, how do they know that he leaked information? How do they know that for certain. That's what I want to understand. Mendelsohn had previously denied wrongdoing and said he regrets his friendship with a convicted sex offender. Yeah, they all regret it now. They weren't. Everybody is regretting it now, but it's too late. Okay. His arrest came days after this. The ex-prince was in custody for 11 hours while cops combed through his homes, including his former abode, Royal Lodge. Experts say they will now be examining any devices they seized, such as phones and laptops. Metropolitan Police spokesman said the update today, officers have arrested him. So let me ask you a question out there. So you could see the fallout in Europe is far greater. People getting arrested, people getting fired, people getting shamed. Question is, why isn't that here? Why isn't the level of that? I mean, look at Les Wexner. Obviously, this guy is knee deep in it. Got a lot of money to give to Epstein to play around with. Own Victoria's Secrets. I don't know if he still owns it. You have to consider in some way, how much is that guy involved with? I mean, to say he doesn't know anything, I was conned by him. I was fooled by him. I mean, it's just a joke in some way. It's embarrassing that people are just, relegating to the idea that they could say this in some way. And obviously they can, because I don't think there's going to be any blowback. I mean, is Les Wexner going to come before the oversight? I know they talked to some House members because they want to play gotcha games with some Democrats to see if he was tied to President Trump. But I think there's a lot of people out there still waiting, hoping in some way that there are going to be people arrested. And I'm just telling you, don't hold your breath. At least you're not going to know about it. I'll just remember Ghislaine Maxwell is serving time in jail for supposedly trafficking to one of these people, these names. Okay. And we still don't know who that is. And is that her fault? Or is it because the courts have decided not to share that information of the black book that they have? It's all secret and classified. I got other stuff regarding this, but what does the Mendelsohn fallout mean for Epstein in some way? That you have another arrest. Where does this go? It's not about trafficking or diddling kids. It's about leaking classified information. Is this the new context that we're going with this? Obviously, in some way, you could say that everybody that was involved with Epstein was involved in this, quid pro quo. You know what I'm saying? They were getting something to give something up in order to what? Either be blackmailed, to force a blackmail. I don't know. What say you?
Well, there was a CBS guy. I forget his name. I didn't write it down, but a CBS correspondent or something of that nature.
It's here. We're going to cover that.
Okay, so you got that guy.
Yeah.
There's probably many others that we haven't heard of. I think they're starting in Europe, Brett, with this as like an appetizer for us. So if people can see it going on over there, and we're here, and we're like, whoa, damn, that's crazy. Prince Andrew. Oh my God, what the hell's going on? And now they're like, when it hits here, they're not going to go batshit crazy, except for the liberals, of course.
Right. So Epstein was tipped off on these raids, removed evidence before police. Interesting. Who tipped him off? Nearly reviewed financial records and emails revealed that Epstein quietly stashed computers, photographs, CDs, and other explosive materials in storage units across the United States. This was epic when I read this. To hide evidence from authorities as federal investigators closed in. Records show that the convicted child predator was tipped off about police raids on his properties and paid private investigators to move the evidence as authorities prepared the search warrants. Now, the question is, if he paid private investigators, and we know that, who are these private investigators? And what evidence can we ascertain that they moved? See, if we know that, I'd like to get a list of those names, see how deep this goes. The details first reported by the Telegraph suggest that the key materials connected to convicted sex trafficker may have been hidden from investigators and possibly never seized. This is a logical argument to suggest that this is all we have on him, and all the other good stuff that supposedly that was locked up at the Manhattan brownstone that the FBI, the SDNY helped, let's just say, lift from. Whether we have it or not, it's gone. But it appears now, as the Telegraph is reporting, that if they were tipped off in any way, what little information was left behind that they can find. We know that there was diamonds, there was some cash, there was some silver, there were some things. but we don't know what those things are and what they got. But according to the report, Epstein rented 6 storage units nationwide. Now, if we know that he rented 6, I bet you we know the locations. Early as 2003. That's what they're reporting here. Credit card records show he continued paying them until 2019. So now you have credit card traces to trace back to these facilities, these storage units. He died in federal custody. The units reportedly housed items from Epstein's properties, including computers, CDs, Little St. James, his private pedophile island in the Caribbean. Search warrants included 3 million documents recently released by the Department of Justice, reportedly indicate the federal authorities may never have searched the facilities. If true, that raises an explosive question about where that material is now and why. So we're aware that there's storage units that are available. That means either they were already seized and we don't know about it, all right, or they're just telling you now and fast forwarding this going. Emails reviewed by the Telegraph show Epstein allegedly directed private investigators to move this stuff. Over the weekend, I learned that plaintiff's counsel are looking to get from me the computers and paperwork I took from Jeff's house prior to the search warrant. Riley continued. I have them locked in the storage and like to know what to do with them. He further noticed. It is possible to give you these items for review and safekeeping or give it to Darren Indike or back to Jeff. The emails also stated that the computer drives stored in the unit have been copied or cloned. Wow. Virginia Guffrey's lawsuit mentioned computers allegedly moved after tip-off. So obviously someone was tipping him off. More units near his mansion. I mean, obviously you had one in Florida. You had one in New York. You had a massive one in New Mexico. I can't imagine them not knowing this. Unanswered question. DOJ has released millions of these. However, the reported existence of storage units that may or not been searched raises fresh concerns. Were cloned hard drives ever recovered? Who had access to the materials? Good point. And most importantly, what was on them? For years, Americans have demanded full transparency in Epstein's operations, his associates. The revelation that computers and materials were quietly moved into off-site storage, potentially ahead of law enforcement actions, adds yet another layer to the case. The question will be, have we secured these properties and the contents of the materials that are inside said properties? I want to know about that. If the contents of the storage units were never seized, the story of Epstein may be far fully told. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I can't imagine if the article is being written that they have credit card receipts and that there was an actual bill of lading on each of these units that were still outstanding, that were being paid conditionally. Well, then you would have a way to trace back where they're going. And I think that is something that people should consider, that this is not bullshit. This is not bunk. What it is basically showing you, we're painting a picture that the possibility of more information is out there. All right. The truth is out there, so to speak. I mean, it's like an X-Files thing. It's out there. Question is, are these the things that are going to be withheld from us, or they're purposely what? We're not being told about this because they carry greater weight. They're there for issues regarding indictments and other things and building other cases for bigger names, bigger fish. It's possible. And we might not ever see or know who these people are for the very reason that is germane, that they're talking about the subject matter now. That's why it's loosely written as it is and saying, well, there are credit card receipts. You could trace this back. There are storage units that were still unpaid or was a continuous payment up until 2019.
I would have to say that we probably have all of it. I would think.
I can't imagine we don't.
I can't either. And that really freaks them out. Look how they're acting.
Right.
Look how the left is acting. Every day that goes by, they get more insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are really losing it up in Congress. I mean, man. And I'm like, okay, we're over the target. I'm okay with that. And I don't want to listen to these people that go on X and they blackpill people with this old picture of Trump giving Netanyahu the key to the White House, which was 6 years ago.
I know.
There's a lot of influencers that are doing that. Y'all don't buy this stuff from these people.
Yeah.
Dig in and look at before you buy all this stuff. Because anyway, I'm sorry, Brett. Go ahead.
No, it's meaningless. I mean, it really is. You're just spinning your wheels on stuff like that. I mean, there are going to be people like James was saying that they're going to think that, yeah, he's controlled. They're going to say Witkoff is controlling him, or the Secretary of Commerce, what's his name? I always forget his name. And he's implicated in the Epstein files.
Or Witkoff?
No, not Witkoff. Lutnick. Yeah, I mean that he's his handler. I mean, I've heard that type of connotations that are out there. I mean, if that's what you believe,
or does Lutnick know all the avenues?
That's what I'm saying. Is Lutnick there for a reason? Is he there to help unravel this in some way? Is he there as an artifice, a distraction in some way? I mean, he's got his own issues regarding Epstein Island. Some people still want him to resign. That's not going to happen.
Lot, though, too.
Yeah, I mean, he knows a lot. He lived near him. I mean, he was in conversation with him. So, I mean, look, the argument is that, so why isn't he held to a higher standard or to the same standard as Peter Mandelson is? Because the argument is that Mandelson was exchanging information, classified information, secret information with Epstein. At least that's what they think they know. And if that is true, all right, well, then there you go. Then you can make the argument in some way that, unless you could prove Lutnick, was doing something, nefarious outside the bounds in some way, but there's no evidence to suggest he even admitted that he went there it doesn't look good. But again, I said the 6 degrees of desperation. Come on. All right, I move on. Jack Smith suffers a final humiliating defeat. This was, I think, in some way, I have to tell you right now, Eileen Cannon has turned out to be an amazing judge in a lot of ways, and she should be recommended, I think, possibly. It could be possible that when there's an argument to make in some way to say that she could be, remember, she sits on a circuit court. I mean, I would have to say the possibility of her being named for a potential seat for an opening in the Supreme Court has to be great. Yeah, because what she did here and how she is doing this in a sharply worded 15-page ruling issued, Cannon blasted Smith for what she called a brazen stratagem, accusing him of pressing ahead with the report, even after she ruled in 2024 that his appointment as special counsel was unconstitutional and dismissed the case after Trump and 2 co-defendants. Think about it. She answers to the 11th Circuit Court. She has basically came up with that finality. Remember, the argument was that the AG at the time of the Biden administration set up some type of office, all right, that neither was that was unconstitutional in some way, but it was looked upon that he wasn't special counsel in some way because there is no special counsel. First of all, you need an act of the Congress to do it, or you need the president to do it at the time. And, the authority that he had, or supposedly was not there. And the way they strung this along to make him something of that he worked for the office in some way as a special counsel, but there was no definitive information regarding, because you need that from the president to be appointed, or you need Congress to do it. So the special counsel Smith and his team went ahead for months. See, they keep calling him special counsel, but that is the problem right there. Undeterred, preparing the classified documents report, using discovery collected in connection with the proceeding and expanding government funds in the process. Cannon wrote, to say the chronology represents a minimal concerning breach of spirit of the dismissal order. So Cannon said releasing the report now would contravene basic notions of fairness. So they were trying to smear President Trump. They were trying to do this and get this released, and she stopped this and amount to manifest injustice, noting that the case never reached a jury. So they want to release this to the public and to the media so they could be the jury, and so they can slant this and go after President Trump and taint this out there in an election year purposely. So she also warned the publication could expose information shielded by attorney-client privilege and grand jury secrecy. While it's true the former special counsels have released final reports for the conclusion of their work, Cannon wrote, it appears that have done so either after electing not to bring charges after adjudications of guilt by plea or trial. The court strains to find a situation in which a former special counsel, he was never a special counsel. Biden never appointed him. Merrick Garland just made him a quasi-U.S. attorney without being approved, He was abated in there in some way. To consider that he was operating under some special counsel guidelines is completely not factual at all. And I think the argument is that he never had a proper, let's just say, place to do it. There was no conditional ruling by Biden to keep him in there. And considering Biden wasn't really president, someone was wearing a mask, it doesn't matter anyway. The Justice Department initially appealed Cannon's dismissal, but abandoned the case after Trump's election. I think in some way you're going to use this as a smear tactic, and whatever they found to destroy and smear President Trump at this time, and they were going to do it over the week, over this past weekend. They were going to try and do it or this week after the State of the Union address tomorrow. Marshall, your thoughts? I mean, obviously they're not stopping with this, but she's basically pushed back. Don't do this.
Yeah, they're just going to keep. I mean, they're relentless, Brett. You know, what are you going to do? So I just say, just keep going with it. And I saw a couple comments here now they're passed up, but it was about 9/11 in KC, about the truth about 9/11. But I just
we have to go to October truth about 9/11.
Just interesting. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not buying a whole. I think that this is just more bullshit. I just don't. I'm not.
Well, it does. I mean, look, she's already told them that you can't release this information, that there's attorney-client privilege. Right. There might be classified information in there. So if they're going to do this, are they going to leak this out? Because it's not going to be good if they do. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to leak stuff out. All right, I want to cover Angels Without Wings. That's what I call it today. I watched today, I saw it, very disheartening, very sad. This is why I have a massive pushback about criminal legal scum. It's not just, we need to go door to door and pull these people out by their hair. We need to remove every single fucking one of them. The administration, yes, if the DHS, which I know is not being funded right now because the Senate doesn't want to do anything, they want to hire private bounty hunters to go after people, the non-violent per se in some way. But it doesn't matter. If you're living in this country illegally, you're illegally here, you're not paying your taxes, you're not doing anything, you're not supposed to be here. You've been trespassing for a long time, okay? You committed a lot of fraud by being here as well. At this point, I'm just sick of you. I am sick and tired of hearing illegal aliens, illegal criminal aliens, illegal aliens. Get the fuck out of here. Go back to your shithole countries. I mean, honestly, I think the American populace is going to continue with this fervor to push back. And there's going to be a greater sense of justice because we're sick and tired of these people. We're sick and tired of them killing our children, our brothers and sisters, our fathers and mothers. We're sick and tired of them. I get nothing but loathe, for these people. Fuck them all. I don't care what fucking shithole country you're from. I don't fucking care. You're not an American citizen. I don't want you here. I don't care what fucking nationality you are, from Latin America, South America, Canada. I don't fucking care. If you're in this country illegally, I'm sick of you. I don't want to hear anything about you anymore. You make me sick. It's fucking disgusting. And when I watch this and I see President Trump discussing this, and he puts the onus and the blame on Biden, okay? And then the Democrats, who basically don't fucking care. They don't give a shit at all. And any fool voting for the Democrats right now, I mean, they're sticking with them, that are running with Massey or MTG. Well, you know what? You're a bunch of fucking tools. You don't really see the forest through the trees. You don't understand what's going on. Let's play this. President Trump goes straight at radical Democrats, accusing them of allowing 25 million illegal foreigners. Million.
So beautiful. I was thinking as you were saying that running again for a third time after having gone through what we went through the second time, which was so horrible, so much cheating, so much deception and viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more powerful term than my second term would be.
Oh.
And much more powerful. And one of the reasons is everybody sees how bad they were. And I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough. When you get a fake poll, I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close. But, You go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, you know, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to. And now they compare it to Biden and that horrible, horrible administration. And I mean it, it is more powerful. Our military is much more powerful. We rebuilt it mostly in the first term. Then they gave away a chunk of it. And as much as it was, it's very small relatively, Tom. But we gave it to the Taliban. Just walked out. We could have taken it with us. They said, oh, I think it's cheaper to leave the planes. Just put a little jet fuel and fly it to a neighbor or fly it right home. Sir, I think it's cheaper. I think we'll save money by leaving a $150 million jet on the runway. These people are crazy. But I said, and I've said to a lot of people, it's much better what happened, but not for you people, it's not. And then I go back and say, but I wish it didn't, because every one of your loved ones would be alive today.
Listen to
Everyone in
this.
this room, I think, maybe
This
there's
is
one
important.
where it could have sneaked through during our term, but I don't think so. We had a very tough border. We had we solved it in 2016, and we had a very strong border. I would say nothing is as strong as what we have now, but we had a very strong border. We had a good border. We had a sane border. It was sane. And I say, I like this much better, much more respect. You know, you read about all these crazy shooters, but they only go after consequential presidents. They don't go after non-consequential presidents, you know. If you take a look, Abraham Lincoln, some big one. John Kennedy, in a certain way, was very consequential. He represented something very important. He was there for 1,000 days, as you know, the book, 1,000 days, but he was consequential. There was a glamour, there was something good for our country, right? But they consequential, and I was told that. I saw that the other day. They said they only go after consequential. So maybe I want to be a little bit less consequential. Can we hold it back a little bit, please, Tom? Can we just, like, nice and easy? Let's be a normal president for a little while. Because we had the greatest first term, I think, of any president in history. A lot of people have said that. Even radical left people have said that. And so it's, you know.
So he's painting the picture that the Biden administration, the reason why your families are dead, okay, they were murdered and killed, is because the Biden administration allowed 25 million illegal aliens to come through the country. That have increased and have gotten worse, and with no consequence, no fail-safe to remove them, no jails to hold them. So it was a revolving door, and it kept percolating and percolating and percolating. And what saddened me and broke my heart watching these mothers and these fathers and all these people in there watching is that as President Trump painted the picture, this could have been prevented. But the sacrifice that he had to go through because of the stolen election, as he painted it, that my second term, as it is now, is much more consequential and much more impactful, so much bigger, so much heavy, so much weightier, that the real shit, the real pain is coming through me and now. And I don't know if that's a consolation prize to these people, because the way these people were murdered, executed, killed, raped, tortured, burned. I don't know if that's anything consequential, or it's not a consolation prize. You know, they're going to live with this one way or another. It's sad. It's a fucking tragedy. But when I look at illegal aliens all over the place, if I got a fucking chance to pick up the phone, I'm calling ICE. I'm not calling local police. I will fucking call them. If there's a bounty hunter line, fuck yeah, sign me up. Because there's going to be a shit ton of people that have reached their boiling point until we get removing this fucking wretched scum out of our country, who's not only defrauding us and bankrupting us, they're replacing you. That's why you can't get a home. That's why you can't get this. That's why this shit is expensive, because they gave it to them and not to you. You should not feel sorry for these people. You should not feel anything for these people, because any opportunity you do, they will snatch the living bejesus from you and replace you.
Yeah, and after this speech, and I watched it live today, after this speech
so
today, what he did was it's going to, once the word gets out enough, it's got to keep coming out, got to keep repeating it, that once they do, the word gets out, people need to understand how pissed off they should be about how our government treats them. Look at Irina, the girl down in Charlotte that got killed on the bus. We could go on and on. When
No, they're
people
too busy calling you a racist. I'm done
right
with that shit.
when it finally
Don't worry.
strikes
That's the only thing
home,
that's going to save us, because
Yeah.
racism is the new nationalism. It's
Yeah.
the only way it's going to save us. And if we don't put our foot down on it, okay, on the throats of these people, they will kill you. Super D, thank you for the can. Curious Cat, hello. Wood USA, thank you for the 317 gold pills. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill like these people, wonderful people supporting the chat. If you want to help us over here on Rumble, you can do the same with a Rumble rant. You can help out marshallkofi.com/surfdog74. I got more to go. So President Trump mites the mother of Lincoln Riley. Very sad, very sad. Let's listen to this wonderful lady. It's a very sad thing what happened to her daughter. This is what I'm talking about. The exercise of what we need to do. This is not a futile exercise. This has to be done. He's recognizing, as this proclamation is going to be signed today, all right, for the very reason of what we need to do and push forward. There's no turning back. I don't know why anybody would want to defend these people.
Well, this is unexpected, but I think that a lot of people feel like that President Trump is maybe different than the version I've gotten to know. And I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Lincoln. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job.
A thankless job. How about that? No shit. No shit. There's no doubt about it. No shit. And then when people say, well, he won't go down as the greatest president ever because you got Washington and Lincoln. You could say it in your lifetime, what have you, and stuff. There was no person in our lifetime or in our window right now would take the slings and arrows and what he's doing specifically to go after alien scum. Foreign invaders who invaded our land, who squatted on our land, who defrauded us, who ends up killing us, gets free passes, free quarters from our fucking legislature all over the place in these sanctuary state fiefdoms, set up shop to operate. It's a disgrace. It's a total fucking disgrace. And it's an embarrassment that when you see that mother and what she still has to endure all the time in the name of her daughter, that was sacrificed in some way for here we are in this matter to make sure never again. We got more. I got more.
Yeah, and what he did today, I wasn't expecting that today, Brett.
No,
when he
we
came
got
out with this, I was completely surprised.
It
And I'm glad he did
crushed
it.
me today. Crushed me today. It
He
did.
did it. He should have done it, and it's a good damn thing.
It's a fucking great thing.
And last year, a sadistic illegal alien released by crooked Joe Biden was arrested for raping an 11-year-old girl in Texas and strangling her to death after knocking on the door of her home. Her father later discovered her body badly beaten and stuffed under her bed. The father came home and found her like that. No one more innocent. We're not going to have one more innocent American life. It just can't, we can't let this go on. Migrant crime.
Fucking disgrace. I mean, today was a great day that he put the topic on, I think, on blast for people to understand what is happening, what needs to be said. Listen to this guy. This guy was great. This is a guy who I think his brother was murdered. This is a good one. And listen to what he says here and how he says it. Breaking: the White House just exposed another CNN refusing to air the testimonies of the Angel families at the White House. They turned the cameras off. Turn the cameras off. Disgusting, disgusting people. I want them all to go down. Every single one of them. See, that's what we should be hoping for when the media collapses and they all go to jail for what they were participating in, help stealing the election of 2020, because they're all complicit. Listen to this.
No matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time. We love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma Cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. President Trump,
Yep. And this is the man that lost his, I think he's lost his brother that he was talking about. I had so much of this. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff that the Angel moms today, which I really thought signing this proclamation and how much it meant. Listen to this story. A black man named Alexander Lamar in Michigan ran over and killed a 3-year-old white girl. He then proceeded to shoot the parents with a shotgun. They're in critical condition. Then he proceeded to shoot a 72-year-old granny who came to help, who's in a coma. Not even local news is reporting this story. I didn't hear about this story. I think it's time we admit that the elephant in the room. It's practically open season on white people, and the media don't care. No, they don't care. So we have
this girl is.
You know, I understand that.
No, well,
crime is supposedly down in all these places from a statistical point of view. But if you go by the numbers, okay, that we're dealing with, all right, we're at the bottom of the list when it comes to being what? As killers. We're being marked and targeted. All right. We not only have to deal with the shit from another race, we got to deal with from a bunch of races that are in this country that are killing sporadically. There is no such thing as racism anymore. The idea is true nationalism, and nationalism must survive. In order for us to survive, we have to make it so. We can't allow this anymore. I mean, I think that in some way that this administration knows that people are getting tired of it. There's a level of vigilantism that could be coming, because when we see what took place in Minnesota, we know what we're up against. Yeah, you could cut off the money, Max Dog, but it's not going to stop. Still not going to stop. It's just going to make them even more fucking batshit crazy. I don't know why we haven't cut it off yet. They're still tracking and tracing. I don't know. I don't know if all those people are being paid. It's the same argument to say the same thing. Why aren't we out there protesting all the Epstein files? Because no one's being paid to do it. That's the bottom line. Because if we were truly uproared about the whole thing, about what they did to kids, supposedly what they did all over the place, we haven't scratched the surface about. And no one wants to get into those positions anymore, because we're dealing with these people on a daily basis, and we know the blowback. Here's this.
Let me fill you in. This is Alexander Lamar Banks Jr., and he was
Yeah.
just arrested in Michigan after he targeted a white family with his car, running over the 3-year-old daughter, then getting out with a shotgun and shooting the parents. Harlow Smith, the 3-year-old daughter, was unfortunately killed in the attack. The parents are both in the hospital, and their condition has stabilized. And if that wasn't bad enough, 72-year-old Barbara heard a commotion outside, so she decided to go and investigate, and upon witnessing this horrific act, went to help the Smith family. Unfortunately for her, she happened to be in Alexander's field of view, and so she became his next victim. Barbara was beaten, bloodied, and concussed, suffering severe head trauma and even bleeding in her brain. She ended up needing emergency brain surgery, and as I record this video, the surgery was a success, but Barbara is unconscious. And the mainstream media won't touch this story with a 10-foot pole.
That's the point of this. They won't touch this. They won't. Just like they turned the cameras away from all the angel moms and dads and people who lost loved ones to criminal, illegal alien scum. They want to cover black on white crime, black on children crime. They don't want to cover that type of crime because it doesn't benefit them. From their standpoint, we're the racists. They will still toe that line no matter what state, no matter what city, no matter what local news, well, no matter what it is. Until something changes, something gives way, that we push back so hard, then that's it. It's game over. Maybe that's coming. I don't know. But, at this point, I'm so over it. I've had enough of seeing this, and I think people are just, they've grown to the point where it's like, I don't fucking care anymore. Fuck you. I don't fucking care anymore. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to be around you. I start to look at these people in general. And I think that the idea is that we're going to look at illegal aliens with so much vitriol that it's going to get really bad. You will have to force them into such a submission to make their life so uncomfortable of living in this country that it will be painstaking for them, all right, to stay, and they'll want to flee. That's how it has to be presented. That's how it has to be argued. And that's how it has to be shown. That's how the door has to swing open. That's the only way. That's the only way. We have to make them so uncomfortable. Yes, cutting off the money, cutting off all the funds, not getting welfare, not getting SNAP, not getting benefits. There's no special Section 8 for you for fucking living,
Yeah, well, and who owns all the media, Brett? I mean, that's what they do. All they do, every commercial is a black guy with a blonde woman. That's the couple. That's the married couple. And then it goes on and on. They hide these
not my
news,
world.
Yeah, they hide these news facts like this story you just showed.
Mm-hmm.
All these white people. We have a target on our, if you're white, you better keep an eye out on everywhere around you. If you live in a place like we do, it's not as bad. But be very careful. If you are white, arm yourself with any kind of protection you can.
So Angel family seen crying as military choir sings Amazing Grace. This was beautiful. Listen to this. How sad. How fucking sad. How sad. And they rip President Trump all the time. He's not doing anything. All the fucking people on X, all the black pillars bitching and moaning. We're gonna get to the Olympics because they're bitching and moaning about that. All right. They're bitching and moaning about you can't celebrate a win for the USA because we're hypocrites, because in fact, we all said don't watch the Super Bowl, don't watch the halftime. Yeah, it's all garbage. I don't watch it anyway. It's bread and circus. But the Olympics, is it bread and circus? To some people, it's not. It's national pride. Is it any different from the NFL?
But Brett, imagine the healing that those people went through today.
No, I know.
I mean, that was very cathartic for them. And I'm God bless those people, because I know they feel they have a little bit of something left.
Well, President Trump has made them as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And says you will be remembered. Your daughters, your sons, your children, your loved ones, your fathers, your mothers, everybody that was lost, that was taken from you, that was stolen from you, you will be remembered. And that's what President Trump does so well. And it's been fantastic. President Trump bids farewell to an emotional angel families. This thing captivated me. captivated me. I was just, I mean, you can't love this guy more than enough. You know, everybody that wants to be critical and bitch and moan about all these things, this is the purest sense of what his presidency really unconditionally just does and how it serves the people, what it means to these people that lost their children, their loved ones, their fathers, their mothers.
Thank you.
Very somber. You don't think he realizes it? You don't think he knows this?
You can tell he feels it, man.
He totally feels it.
He's like the caring grandfather that just loves all the kids, you know. That was heavy, man.
Look at him. Look at the way he's walking. Look at the way he left. I bet you he wants to cry. I wouldn't doubt it. Bet you it broke his heart. I bet you it did. And that's just a lot on your plate. Lot on your plate. Amazing.
Man's
Amazing.
carrying our whole country on his
Yep.
shoulders.
Absolutely.
Nobody, all these liberals act like this.
So next time you see a black pillar on X, fucking smack them in the face. Smack that bitch. Yeah, put them down.
Shame on them.
Let them know. Shame them. Because all they fucking care about is Epstein. Epstein this, Epstein that. We're run by satanic pedophile. Yes, we know.
He's owned by Bibi.
We understand the world that we're living in. We understand, at least most of us do. We get it. We get it.
Yeah. Or it's the owned by Bibi thing, you know.
Right.
It's
All
disgusting.
right, let's move this forward. I only got a certain amount of time. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I got a couple other things. I didn't really want to get to too much, but I thought there was some really interesting stuff that was breaking. It just killed me. That killed me. I was just blown away about how I feel about all this stuff with the angel moms. It really does. I mean, I don't know how you cannot feel that way. You know, did it have to be? No, of course it didn't have to be, but it did. So you hear outrageous erupts. Secret Service protecting President Trump is getting no paychecks because Democrats shut down DHS. You heard that right, Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats jeopardizing Trump's safety, including after a man showed up in Mar-a-Lago, evil people, nuked the filibuster, defund the DHS now. Listen to this.
But there's no breakthrough to end the impasse over DHS. That means that Secret Service agents protecting the president are not getting paid. That bothers Republicans, especially after Sunday's episode at Mar-a-Lago.
Secret Service is not funded because Democrats are not funding Department of Homeland Security. So those Secret Service agents that are on the ground there working, their department, their agency is not funded right now, putting them at risk of not being paid to do their always inherently dangerous work.
This is the third major incident involving the president's safety since he was shot in 2024 in Butler, Pennsylvania.
I want to say this, though, and I think we had this discussion. I think the president should have his own protection detail. I know he's got a Marine Guard, but he needs something else. Not like a paramilitary, like former JSOC, special ops, what have you in some way. But I also think that if you're going to have this type of melding between military and civilian protection in some way, put it not under the Department of Homeland Security. It used to be under the Treasury. I mean, can we go back to doing that? Or can it be its own independent agency where you don't have to deal with these types of things? This just relegates and highlights the notion of what it is and the impetus about funding the DHS. They purposely did this, and then this guy shows up at Mar-a-Lago to try and kill President Trump when he wasn't even there. That's what you're seeing. That's what you're made to see. That's what you're made to process. All right? It's all these fucking Democrats. Every single one of them. And some rhino cucks in there, too. They don't fucking care. There's about 20 of them, and might be even more, that are not going to show up to the State of the Union address. Good. They want to go somewhere else at the mall or what have you. Good. Go have a good time. Go ahead. Have fun. No one's going to care. I'm sure there'll be seats available. And you know what? That should be highlighted. Don't fill those seats. Show the empty seats. Show the American populace the empty seats of the Democrats where they're supposed to sit. Actually, Put the names there to show who's not showing up. Highlight these scumbags. Because if Republicans did that to Barack Obama or Joe Biden, holy hell, the whole world would have a fucking meltdown. But of course, these cocksuckers, they could do whatever the fuck they want. Unfucking believable. And I'm just sick of it because that's another thing that we hear about. Another assassination attempt, another understanding. Now, whatever you want to take away, from the assassination of what it was that someone got in through the North Gate, whether they snuck in. He supposedly parked his car on Worth Avenue, walked 2 miles over the bridge. I know the area, walked over there, and that's fine. But he got on the north side and he snuck in through the gate. Okay, well, there's cameras there, motion detectors. I'm sure there's stuff on the ground that sensors all over the place. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that they have there that they knew that someone was there and they were trying to find this guy. And I don't care. I mean, look, he raised the gun at him. He got. So be it. Okay. What was his tenant plan? There was nobody there. What are you training to burn down Mar-a-Lago? I think that was the gas can full. All we heard was a gas can. I don't know if it was full or not, but it reminds me of that psycho. All right. Who heard that a building was being sold. Okay. To DHS to be used in preparation for a holding facility. And then the landlord or whoever it was for the commercial property pulled out and said, no, we're not. And then this woman goes and tries to burn it down. And see, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a lot of this arson all over the place in the name of. That's what they're going to do. In the name of. They're going to use this all the time. And don't be mistaken that when these 20 motherfuckers or more of Democrats want to show up on the lawn to have their own people's state of the address or what have you, and use the new Virginia governor as the talking point to basically give their speech, which is a joke. She's a fucking CIA agent. She was a CIA agent. She snuck in. She stole that election. All right. And she's going to give the contrast to President Trump's speech. Yeah, good luck with that. When she's raising taxes all over, she lied to you in Virginia. And you know what? Good for you for voting for her, because all you fools, hey, you want to walk dogs? Well, you know what? You're going to be a dog walker. You're going to pay tax on it. They're going to do everything they can, like they're doing in New York, to fucking screw you. And good luck with that. Have fun with that. I hope you choke on it, but that's your reality. That's what happens when you vote for these people, because you want three things. You want abortion, you want this, and you want that. No one cares about illegals. You're only getting paid to act like you fucking care.
I think the Angel family should take those empty seats. And if the Democrats complain about it,
I thought about that. I'm like, it would be put them in a special area. Well, they're going to have the hockey team. Apparently, the hockey team's coming. The gold medal. Yeah. We're going to cover that. But apparently, the women's team declined. How about that? An all-female white team, all-female white liberals, probably all declined. Perfectly.
There's one black.
Perfect. Well, it doesn't matter. They all declined. They all got prior obligations. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing their hair.
Okay. They all got prior obligations, so they're not going to show up. Have fun with that. Joke on that. Yeah, bad move. Bad move.
Yeah, because think of the market.
You don't have to have them simultaneously with the men's team. If there are provisions in place that you need to get these people in one area at a certain time to do it logistically, then set it up to do it. You don't have to do it immediately. He wanted to have them both together, and he said no. But they should have came back and said, "Can we do it another time?" But they didn't say that. That's what they didn't say.
Just blew it off.
That's what they did.
And they missed a huge marketing opportunity, Brett.
Right.
Because each one of them is a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have that anymore.
No, they don't. Now it's going to be overshadowed by the men's team.
Yeah, no Wheaties box for you. No Wheaties box for you.
Just like the soccer team. Remember the soccer team? Remember that? How'd that all fall apart? How'd that all go well? Didn't.
Stupid.
No one even remembers it anymore. FBI Director Kash Patel spotting chugging beer with the team in USA. So this made a lot of stuff. A lot of people uncomfortable, pissed off. Kash Patel was on site in Milan for USA men's hockey. Patel posted pictures with the members of the team on, after they won. Jack Hughes, Takak brothers sporting their medals around their necks. Unity, sacrifice, attitude, what it takes to be best in the world, Patel wrote These men live and breathe it. Now, Team USA, Patel was shown drinking what appeared to be alcohol with the team. Okay, well, we saw pictures of Obama drinking beer multiple times. I've seen other presidents drink beer. I've seen Kamala. What was she drinking? She was always drinking vodka or something all the time.
Pelosi.
Yeah. I mean, Pelosi drunk all the time. But I guess they can, but he can't. And so, here you go. I guess the problem is there's a twofold thing here. When you see all this stuff, it's hard to imagine because of if you think about how many deep state operators we had, from Chris Wray to James Comey to Robert what's his name? Robert Mueller. Okay. And then, on and on and on. When you see how many people that we've had of deep state people in some way that quietly showcase who they are, not what you see up front. I think it's a little, for some people, it was very uncomfortable to see. And, they kind of didn't like it. Honestly, I couldn't give two shits. And I think he was enjoying his time. And then people saying, well, he's utilizing his jet to go party with this stuff. No, he was there in Milan, in Italy, for something, all right? And then he was asked to join them, okay? His team was.
Well, the FBI follows
and the FBI plane is paid for by, yes, our taxpayer dollars. But that's because Congress has mandatory this type of situation since 2011. And since 2011, he is forced to do this. He cannot go on any trip without utilizing this plane. Yeah,
right.
He can't fly commercial. He's got to fly private. And
He
don't
has
you
to
blame him?
fly on
He's
that
got a
plane.
world of information that rests in his head, okay? That rests with him. He's got to be with the team. And so he's here hanging out, celebrating the USA victory. And people are like, well, what about the Epstein files? What about this? What about that?
Jesus.
And it's never going to be good enough. You're never going to enjoy life. You're not. You're just going to be miserable. You're going to say you celebrate the Olympics. It's the same thing as the NFL. Maybe previous Olympics. Yeah, there's a little darkness here. I saw some satanic stuff. And yeah, I understand. Good win for the USA. I didn't watch it. I don't really care. Let's play the rest of it. I think it's funny. I think it's great.
Toby Keith.
All brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Just celebrating a victory. This is a big win. They haven't won since 1980. Won the
50
gold.
years. And
Yeah, it's
to the
amazing.
day.
And both the women's team and the men's team won. But yeah, of course, the naysayers are out there. Well, you're just celebrating and supporting another trafficking organization like the Olympics. Yeah, I don't like the Olympics. I don't like the Winter Olympics. But I get it. I understand the conversation about it. There's all this ominous stuff. But can we take some semblance of joy and appreciate what came out of it? This is not the NFL. Okay? The NFL is pure entertainment. When you look at the Olympics and think about how much cheating went on by Canada on a lot of levels.
Finger.
I mean, hell, they were cheating left and right.
They fingered.
So,
this
I mean,
fluff.
look, I don't know what to make of this. I have no problem with Kash Patel celebrating, drinking a beer, having a good time with them and stuff. I just think what it is that no one has seen an FBI director, okay? If you could say that, FBI director, okay, the face of the FBI in some way, act in this manner. And people are like, well, everybody who bought his merch and all this stuff, they're all liking this stuff. They like all this stuff. They don't, I'm just thinking, what's so wrong with it? What's he do? It's not like he's going to go and fucking fly the jet home drunk. You know what I'm saying? What? I mean, what? He's the FBI director. He's hanging out celebrating with them, him and his team. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. All right. I got more to go. You got President Trump calling it.
It was awesome, man.
I just, what? I think it, I don't think
the
there's anything wrong
FBI,
with it.
since that shooting back in 72 or whenever it was, when they had that big shooting
Mm-hmm.
in the 70s. The FBI has traveled with the Olympic team, their whole, all of it,
Yeah, I
since
know.
that time.
Mhm.
So I thought it was great, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, he
It's
was there for
awesome.
other business there, but he ended up attending it. So thank you, Dora. Thank you,
wrong
Thea,
with
for the
that?
900 gold pills.
Gretchen
Thea for the
was there.
cookie. Thank you for the other cookie. And so we continue on. Men's U.S. hockey team accepted President Trump's invitation to the State of the Union address. Here we go with the team he's calling in. This was great, too. Is this a problem? Does anybody have a problem with this?
Speech on Tuesday night. I could send a military plane or something, but if you
A military
like to,
plane?
it's the coolest night. It's the biggest.
We're in.
Yeah.
Can you pick us up in Miami on Tuesday?
Can you pick us up in Miami? It's like a fucking Uber. We'll get cash. Can you pick us up in Miami like an Uber? It's hilarious. This is hilarious. Tell me what other fucking president would do this. Seriously, what FBI director would act like this? That's what I'm saying. It's completely. You should enjoy this. This is so fucking cool. I don't know why anybody's like, oh, well, Cash should be trying to find out who is the guy showing up at Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Well, there's teams and agents of Secret Service and sheriff from Palm Beach, and the FBI will take over the investigation. The director of the FBI doesn't oversee everything in that matter. There are people underneath him that go through this, and then it gets bumped up to him to find out what these agencies are doing or these internal groups are doing. I mean, it's just laughable. How about finding the election, the stolen election? I think that's already done. Okay. And I think there's a lot of other things that a lot of people are not considering, but the idea that the pushback about this was just so anti-American and so cold, I'm thinking, man, we can't enjoy anything. I think people are so the righteous indignation that just leaves with people because, yes, I understand it's about all the Epstein stuff that has to do with children and the trafficking, the satanic pedophiles that run the world. I get it. But, man, can you just take the victory here and there?
Take a break and be a patriot.
Get the military to get you guys over.
I'm gonna let's go.
Boys are going to stay.
He goes, let's fucking go.
I can tell you, you don't have to worry about the weather or landing. We don't care if it's snowing, if it's the worst blizzard. We sail it through that sucker just like you did on the ice.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Now, we'll do it at the White House anytime. What would really be cool, and we'll do the White House the next day, we'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys. And we have to, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that. I do believe I probably would be impeached, okay?
Yeah, and he said that to him. I got to move on, but that was great. And what did they say? They came out and said, no, sorry, we can't make it. They didn't say, can we do it another time? No, they didn't. But that's on them. So who fucking cares? But I think that the interaction with President Trump and this hockey team that just won the gold, it's a big thing. A lot of people like the Olympics. People watch it. What was the numbers, Marshall, for the Olympics? I mean, it was just massive this year.
All I know is that this is a patriotic national. This is this team, 50 years to the day, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was exactly 50 years to the exact day that we won that with the great game against the Russians.
So here he says, Cash Mattel says, for very concerned media, yes, I Love America was extremely humbled. And when my friends, the newly minted gold medal winners on Team USA, invited me into the locker room to celebrate this historic moment with the boys, greatest country on earth, greatest sport. I have nothing. I can't find anything wrong with this. I mean, I'm not.
I don't know why the women did that. That was a stupid thing. I don't care if
they
you're
probably
washing
should.
your hair.
They probably should come back and have another conversation and say maybe we can redo this another time. From a PR standpoint, it's not going to look good. No,
I think that maybe Melania could, say, "Hey, come on, we'd like you."
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's political or they really. I mean, it could. Yeah, I mean, instead of saying they shut it down, instead of saying
could have sent a few of their people.
They could have said, can we do this another time with the whole team? Maybe logistically, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But you should have said, "Can we set up for another time?" Logistically, it's not
Who
appropriate. You know, they
turns
got
that down, though, Brad? Come on, State of the Union.
mothers who have children. You know, people who
Well,
have other lives and stuff. I mean, I don't know, but yes, who does turn that down? You have an opportunity to go to the White House. President
yeah,
Trump
come
asks you to
on,
come.
man.
You
Come on.
fucking go. You
Come
fucking go.
on, man.
I mean, come on. I mean, seriously, stop with all that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So the
Nonsense.
same people bashing Cash Patel today. I got to move forward, Tom, Marshall. Celebrating with the team USA after a huge victory against Canada yesterday. Praised Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson for celebrating America, hating Hollywood celebrities, bashing ICE agents at the Grammys. Remember that? She was clapping when they were bashing America. This is a Supreme Court justice who should not be there, who's there on a don't even get me started. This person should be removed because Biden was illegal. He was installed. The election was stolen. And when that comes out, she will be gone. But the same people that sit there defended her, clapping when they were basically being anti-American and anti-ICE and all this other stuff, that's not a problem. See, that's the thing that really pisses me off. See, they got no problem supporting her. All right, her clapping and all this stuff and being at an anti-American, let's just say, whatever, awards rally. But Cash Patel celebrating the gold for the Olympics, talk about hypocrisy, talk about opportunism.
The hair was on fire with that one, bro.
Oh, yeah, absolutely
They're still
disgraceful.
burning. There's
Yep.
embers of brain everywhere.
I could care less. And here's the idiots that are not showing up. Dozens of Democrats are planning to skip that, and that's fine. Here they are. There's more to come, and good. We're saying it's up to 20. There might be more. I think they're saying it could be more than 20. Who cares? I mean, at this point, I'm seeing a lot of articles being written. Who gives a shit if the Democrats there? Because he knows he's going to put them on blast and destroy them, and they don't want to hear it. So the big names there are going to not show up, and so be it. Who really cares? And I want to show you this because this was fantastic. Again, another meme from Dilly. This was great. This is the trolling on Trump, Trump's trolling.
These photographs, every time we do it makes us laugh. Our men and women both kicked your ass. America is always wins again. You're so bitter cause America's great. Soon you're gonna be our 51st state. We're enjoying as your nation pouts. Silver is nothing to be ashamed about. Take off, eh, posers?
I want the USA.
USA.
I want my teammates.
Like I said, I mean, they're there representing the United States of America. And what they did was amazing. And I think that anybody that pushes back, well, it's the Olympics and all this stuff. Yeah, I get it. I understand there's dark elements of the Olympics and all this stuff. They're there representing us. They're not there for their own self-pleasure. Okay. They're not getting paid to do this like the NFL players. It's not like that.
They're not
They're there for the love of
satanic-
country and what? And for the enjoyment of doing this. And for what? The competition.
Yeah.
Fuck Canada. Fuck Mexico. I mean, I don't know why we have to say this. It's unbelievable that so many people are just, tying this together, that we're hypocrites on this end and opportunists on another because we can't conflate, or we choose not to conflate the Olympics and that. I didn't watch the Olympics. I didn't even watch this game. I'm glad they won. It's an amazing story. Good for them. Okay? I know there's dark embers and previous Olympics with all the other pageantry, very ominous, satanic euphemisms all over the place. I get it. I understand it. It doesn't go away. The rings itself means something. I get what that means. I get it all. Do I watch it? No, I don't watch it. But it's still a feel-good story for that.
There's two separate things. When I watch the sports and the actual sport activities, great. No pageantry about satanic. I tried watching the closing ceremony the other night, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
I had to turn it off because it was so bizarre with these people with the gowns and the whole like eyes wide shut looking shit.
Yeah.
I don't think our team is not there for that. That's
No.
what the Olympics is trying to push on you.
No, it's not.
We're not buying it. So bing, bing, bang.
Thank you, Thea, for the cookies. Wood USA, thank you for the 917 gold pills. Thea, thank you for the 300 gold pills. Appreciate. If you want to help out, MarshallKofi.com/surfdog74. Let me continue on. So I found this. I wanted to make sure. So I found 5 articles. I found WLT, Mediaite, Axios did something like this. I wanted to confirm this was real, that this actually took place. So there are 5 articles that are out there. I went to Yandex and looked, and apparently this is true. It did happen because it went viral. I didn't see it. I heard about it, and I thought, oh, this is sketch. So I go to Yandex, put it in, and multiple articles pulled this up, all talking about this in different contexts, about a viral clip of John Barron angrily calling into C-SPAN. Now, I don't know if it was AI or not. Some people said it was. I don't think so, or this was superimposed, but I found a bunch of media sites, WLT, Mediaite, Axios. There was a couple other ones that played this. Said wild speculation of whether it was Trump himself. Let's listen to this. This is weird. This was about Friday with the Supreme Court decision.
Election. John in Virginia, Republican. Let's hear from you.
Well, this is John Barron, and this is the worst decision you've ever had in your life, practically. Jack's going to agree with me, right? But this is a terrible decision. And you have Hakeem Jeffries, he's a dope, and you have Chuck Schumer, who can't cook a cheeseburger. Of course, these people are happy.
Is
of
this
course,
AI?
These people are happy. But true Americans will not be happy. And you have the woman earlier. I assume she's a woman. She's a Democrat. But she said she's disgraced. She's devastated.
All right,
by
John.
this.
We'll go to Chester, who's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
That's very funny.
She couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. I mean, I don't know if it's AI, but it did sound like Trump, and maybe someone did that and put that in there and recorded that. I think it's possible. It's probably
Barron was behind this shit.
I wouldn't doubt it's some form of AI, and that was recorded and uploaded to that. It's fantastic. I think it's great. I think it's hilarious. But overall, I mean, whatever. I don't know. I wanted to make sure that was real because I wasn't really sure. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie again. All right. Let's see. All right. This is what you were talking about, and then we'll dip out of here. So here's another CBS. Here's another correspondent that lost his wings, so to speak, with CBS. Another one just resigned after disturbing emails. And, you know, the resignations are all over the place, so that's a good thing. The Canadian Atia said to Epstein, the life you lead is so outrageous, yet I can't tell a soul. And just one example of this correspondence. Yep. Well, now you told everybody, and now you're out of a job. Canadian Atia. There you go. Oh, it only gets worse. It only gets worse for these people because they can't hide anymore. They can't hide anymore. And whether the idea of exposure and accountability is being held up right now, I'm not really sure. But I don't know if anybody's going to go to jail that we're going to see. And I know it pisses a lot of people off. But again, till you prove a crime other than communications. What else you can do? What is there to do? Well, tell me what Les Wexner. I mean, look, I know he's a bad guy. I know you could tell, but unless you can find some type of evidence that he committed crimes through the emails that you can, tag him with, he ain't going to jail. None of these people are. That's the point. So this is something Marshall sent me. Finland is testing a way to transmit electricity wireless. Ooh, what does that sound like?
Disappeared.
That sounds like somebody.
Finland is testing a way to transmit electricity through the air without physical wires. Instead of traditional cables, this technology uses electromagnetic fields to send energy from one point to another. Think of it like Wi-Fi, but for electricity. The idea isn't brand new. Nikola Tesla dreamed about wireless power over 100 years ago. But now, with modern tech, it's becoming more realistic. This could power streetlights, remote villages, electric vehicles, even disaster zones without miles of expensive cables. No wires, less infrastructure, faster deployment. What if power...
Yeah, that would be great in Florida. Because every time we get a hurricane, the down lines and stuff. I mean, think about
No
it.
Transformers.
Yeah, no transformers, no lines, no nothing. We don't have these problems. How about like creating a little energy box that we have that just heats and cools your home?
Everybody has their own energy source.
Ugh.
I mean, it could just,
You know it's there. You know it's
Elon
there.
Musk is all over this. I guarantee he's all on
It's
it.
fantastic. I
He's
mean,
probably already
honestly,
got all
that's
of it
what I
ready.
want to see. I don't want
He's
to care about
probably got all
UFOs.
of it ready to go, man.
Yeah,
Ready to
I
roll it
get-
out.
you know.
Roll it out, baby.
Exactly. I mean, I can't wait to see this
Bullshit,
in some way. I think it's fantastic. But that's our show for tonight. Let's see. I want to thank Theo over here, 2.5, Gold Pills, Wood USA 1.4, and Super D with 517. Thank you so much for supporting the platform. Marshall, any parting thoughts before we dip out?
Go USA. Fly your flags proud, man.
Well, Linda Perino over here on YouTube says the beginning of the Olympics was satanic. Yes, I did see the coverage of that.
Yeah.
I did. I agree.
Ceremonial shit with the Olympics is
Yeah,
crap.
I know. Well, you got to look on who sits on the board.
Yeah.
What are the countries that are running it? I mean, Italy was hosting it. I mean,
only
yeah,
focus on the sport teams. That's it.
I think that's the point of this. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of people that can turn that shit off and stuff. And I think it's like what Trump said. You know, woke is like those weeds. Yeah, you know, you gotta look out for them because they'll pop back up. And it's just like this. You can root this shit out, but it pops back up until it's stamped out completely. I don't think it's going to go away overnight. And I guess the idea is that, you know, so we should just give up on everything, shut it all down until we root out all the problems and stuff like that. Let's just shut down the economy and shut it all down. I mean, look, I get it. I understand people are angry. They want fucking people hung. I get it. I want them hung every day. I just don't. It's not going to come on our timeline. It's not going to come when we think it is. We just don't know what's going to happen. Well, I'm worried about what's going on with Mexico. I'm worried about this Iran thing that's hanging around here like an albatross. Something's going to give way into something else. We see how solemn President Trump was when he left the Angels proclamation ceremony. You see how solemn he was. He's carrying a heavy burden on his shoulder. Gets no love, no support, other than the people that follow him and the media every day. See, I want to see the media be taken out. See, one day it's just pulled. The plug is just unpulled, and then that's it. To me, that would be great. I'd be celebrating that. How about the Smith-Munn Act? How about doing something about that with an executive order if we can't get Congress to do something because they're useless. So I don't know. At this point, just hold on. Just hold on. It's not too much
take
longer.
it day by day, man. Don't
Yeah.
let it weigh you down, man.
Yeah. Well, that's our show for tonight. We will see you on Wednesday at the State of the Union tomorrow. Maybe I'll be able to go live. I got a lot of stuff I got to do tomorrow. All right. Take care. God bless. Be well. Be safe. Be smart. Ciao, Bella.
Right.